Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Thornton Farm. This is episode number 28 of our long-running series here on Thornton Farm, and what a lovely, wonderful day today is. Let's just bring up our HUDs really quick here. We are the first game day of winter, early winter. Just a reminder, we have been playing 9 game day seasons on this particular project. And as you can tell, the majority of our snow that fell in late fall has melted, except for the stuff that we've piled up over here, which we kind of crudely did that. Blade work and everything is not necessarily my forte, even though we're going to do a little bit more of that type of work this morning. Just to we need to muck out the cows, and I don't think we've actually done that to date. I think maybe before we do that, we will collect our chicken eggs here. We'll open up the gate here and just run through here and collect that. So hope everyone is having a really wonderful, wonderful day. I often forget to collect the eggs because we don't have to do much as far as chickens are concerned with Farm Sim 17. Unless they've configured it that way, and I can't think of a map that I've played with 17 where you had to do anything with the chickens. Maybe Coldborough Park Farm. Maybe we had to feed the chickens in the 17 version like we did in the 15 version, but I can't really remember if that is true or not. So if that's not the case, then well, don't hold that against me. There's a gold nugget there, but we're just going to leave it. We're going to leave it be. Let's shut this gate so this herd of chickens don't get out and cause a big ruckus downtown. Wouldn't want that to happen. So yeah, so hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful time. Let's see if my schedule holds true. You guys are watching this on the 2nd of March, so hopefully your February went by quite well. If it was like for me, it flew by, literally flew by. It would just seem like, where are we going, Jerry? Where in the world are you taking us? We need to go in here. We need to get a wheel loader because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna muck out the cows in a portion of this episode, anyways. Not the entire thing. But just a portion of it. So let's get this guy backed out of here as safely as we possibly can. And so yeah, February for us here, or for me in the real world, because obviously this wouldn't really be February here on Thornton Farm. This would be more like late December, very early January possibly, but most likely late December, since the first day of winter is like on the 20th or something of December. But anyway, we're not following things that closely. But here in the real world, for me, February has flown by pretty quick. Now in the real world, this is the 19th of February. This is President's Day. I am off on President's Day. Got the long weekend. Let's see, which direction do we want to go in? I think we're going to go in from this other direction right over here, as I kind of drive around in circles and confuse you all. But yeah, so this is President's Day weekend. It's a long 3-day weekend. It's the last of our holiday weekends until late May, which is Memorial Day weekend. And I tell you, I'm not sure if I'm ready to make the long stretch to end of May time frame. It's such a long haul. I will tell you that before, well, I think last year, 2017 was the first year that we had President's Day off. We used to have President's Day off when back when I was with the other company that was before it was acquired by the other company that then acquired the other company. So I know that's a little confusing, but we used to have President's Day off, and then we didn't have Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Day is in January, and so we basically come off the. We'll go ahead and close this gate here. We come off the Christmas New Year's holiday and go right into having a 3-day weekend for Martin Luther King Day. Um, okay, so just kind of ignore the immersion here because our cows just kind of do what they're going to do. So that is what that is, and there's nothing that we can really do about that. So anyway, we used to have President's Day off when I worked for the other company before it was acquired and all that stuff. I'm not going to go through that story again. And that was a nice break because you came back from the Christmas, New Year's break and everything, and you worked for about 45 days or so, and then you had a break. Well, it changed. Things change, and as they do. And so then we started getting Martin Luther King Day off, and wonderful day to celebrate and everything. A wonderful, remarkable man and everything. But just from a vacation time off logistics kind of thing, we had just been off a few days or however much you take off at Christmas and New Year's, and we kind of have this mandatory winter break shutdown now, where kind of non-essential, or you sort of stagger things. It's my job to make sure that I have just the right amount of crew working and everything, and usually I take off that time because it's a good time for my wife and I to take off at the end of the year. And so we'd come back from that and then be back in the office for a week or so, and then have Martin Luther King Day off, and then have the long haul all the way to Memorial Day. And kind of, as I think I've possibly said before, here in the U.S., Memorial Day is kind of the unofficial start of summer. It's not the official, obviously the official start of summer, since I think that falls sometime in late June, around the 20th something of June, I guess. Giving you guys a little bit of a history lesson on seasons here, but anyway, it is what it is. And so the schedule as it currently sits is fine. Obviously, it's just now we've got the I think it's like 3 months, something like that, before we have our next kind of time off, unless we want to take the time off. Now, obviously, I can take time off pretty much any time I want to, take vacation and everything. Speaking of vacation, and I'm going to get back into role play here in just a minute, but speaking of vacation, I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous episode or not, but my wife and I have solidified our plans for our 2018 European vacation. No, it probably won't be as entertaining or as eventful as Chevy Chase's European vacation, but we are heading over in late August, so we'll be over for, and this pile of manure I know is getting quite full. We got to do something about that. We'll be leaving the last week of August, the beginning of the last week of August, and then spend about 8 days in Belgium, and then head over across the English Channel, the North Sea there, to London, or to England, and be staying in the outskirts of London for a few days, maybe I think about 6 days, I believe, in our usual location where we usually spend and sort of holiday there. And all that is booked. We've got our airfare booked. We've got our bed and breakfast booked there. It's in a town called Tunbridge Wells. It's out in the county of Kent. The Garden of England, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before in my discussions with you all. So anyway, that is all booked, and I tell you what, I am looking forward to it. I think immensely, getting away and enjoying the time. I think my parents are actually going to, I think this is getting kind of full. I think my parents are planning on coming to Colorado in June, I think for Father's Day, around that time frame, and so it'll be good to see my parents, and I'm quite looking forward to that. And as I had mentioned in the previous episode of Midtown USA, I think, which I recorded on Saturday morning here in the real world of President's Day weekend, We have, my wife, we have began our second project, our second home improvement project, DIY, all that kind of stuff, on the entranceway to our hallway and to from our front door. Just a small area, about 24 square feet or so of space, and we ripped out the tiles. I did that on Friday afternoon. Basically, got in from the office, changed clothes, and grabbed my hammer and my chisel, and I've got another little crowbar nail puller kind of thing that's kind of thin, and it will um, I can bang on it and kind of get under the tiles, and got all the tiles cleaned up. And then on Saturday morning, I recorded that episode of Midtown USA, and our plan was I needed to, come on girls, I needed to clean up the grout and everything, the old grout, which is bit of a chore, and it certainly was for us. It took myself probably 3 hours or so, 3.5, 4 hours, and my wife helping out just a little bit here and there as well, chipping that stuff off the floor. And it wasn't a situation where we could remove the old flooring. It was basically a plywood subfloor, I suppose you might call it, but it joins. I mean, I could have done it, I could have cut it, but there's a hardwood floor section that this hallway sort of butts up against, and I didn't want to disturb the oak flooring because there's nothing wrong with that. So instead of trying to cut the plywood decking out and then replace that, we just basically had to grin and bear it and just scrape and scrape away some of that stuff. And as I think I might have said, I've got a couple of old chisels that I use, and they're just kind of old, and I don't use them for woodworking anymore, so they came in kind of handy, and had mainly it was just a lot of elbow grease, and it wasn't, I've got to say that blood, sweat, tears, and maybe a few choice words in the project to get it all done. But we got it all done. We got the scraping and got the flooring and everything cleaned off. And then Sunday morning, which was yesterday morning, so this is Monday. I have to keep kind of telling myself that, because when I have a 3-day weekend, I kind of get my days and everything confused. But anyway, Sunday morning we started tiling, and so if you're on my Discord channel, I shared some pictures of the fireplace project with you all, and you saw the design and everything that my wife came up with. Absolutely stunning, just absolutely beautiful. She is such a good software engineer, but she has also missed her potential calling as an interior designer, and she works really slow and everything, so maybe she wouldn't be the best person to hire to pay by the hour. But I tell you what, she really has an eye for this kind of stuff, and she did a fantastic job designing this, and basically helping coach me, and getting her design from her mind, and sort of some plans, some paper, onto the actual chimney and everything, fireplace. And so that looked great. So she wanted to continue with that kind of design. And so again, if you're a part of my Discord channel, then you have seen that, and I will definitely show some pictures. On Discord once this project is done, kind of before and after. But as far as the tile is concerned, we've got about 3/4 of it down. We didn't get as far as we had possibly hoped we could. I think we were hoping that we would get all the tile done on Sunday, but I think because of the amount of effort that it took in getting the old grout off, which we didn't seem to have that much trouble with the fireplace, I think we were just kind of worn out, and we couldn't work as fast, and and everything on the tiling, and plus there's so many tiles. Some of it is on sheets, and some of it just because of the design, we just have to kind of tear the round circles off, um, and so let's see. Let me drop this. There we go. All right, so again, speaking of vacation and kind of getting back into the role play just a little bit here, I am my character, the foreman here on Thornton Farm. I am going to take a little bit of time off from Thornton Farm. Um, all the boys have had their time off, Smithy and Thomas, and we have Sid now. Where are we going? I need to go over and get the big John Deere. Um, they've all had their time off, and they've even had some time off in the fall once we kind of got all the crops in and got the fields, oilseed radish and everything planted on the fields. They were able to take some time off, and of course it was much needed for many of them. Um, and I think Smithy is finally over all the crud and everything that he had a couple of weeks ago. It just almost relapsed, I think. He's still coughing quite a bit and everything, but hopefully everything will be fine there with him. But yeah, let me drink a cup of coffee here. All right, let's go ahead and refuel our John Deere tractor here. We need to try to make sure that we keep our fuel tanks full during the winter months and everything. That kind of helps with. Plus, we put some additive and everything into the fuel to keep the fuel lines from freezing. Not that it gets that cold here, but you never know. Anyway, so the boys have had their vacations, and they've all quite had some time off to go and do things and enjoy things and everything. And so I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. So what that's going to mean for the schedule, and really why I'm putting this into the role play, is because I have hopes of sort of segueing out of Thornton Farm into another British map. I don't know what that British map is yet. It could be Oakfield. I know Oakfield is getting a lot of attention right now on YouTube and everything. But as I've often said before, everybody has their different styles of play and all that kind of stuff, and so I don't really do this to necessarily attract viewers based on doing something new or whatever. I don't mind helping out and showcasing projects before they have been released and all that kind of stuff, but I don't necessarily do that to try to boost my numbers. It's not about that. I'm looking at it more as it's an opportunity to show you all something new and hear your experiences and all this kind of stuff. So it could be Oakfield. It could be something else. It could be something that's older, or it could be something that's newer. I really don't know. But I'm kind of thinking that I've wanted to sort of segue out of Thornton Farm onto another British map in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Kind of have a little bit of a storyline that kind of goes along with what I've been doing here and what I would be doing if we moved to another location. And so, in order for me to kind of accommodate this, I need to take some time off from Thornton Farm, because I probably will try to wrap things up before we add more episodes than 30. So right now this is episode number 28. So I'm thinking, we might could do another episode, or maybe two episodes, and kind of end things at episode 30. But I really don't have much additional time, unfortunately, because I'm still busy at work, and still busy with the home improvement projects. And actually my woodworking business is picking up, which is a good thing for me. I've started another endeavor that I'll tell you about here shortly. But anyway, so what I'm planning to do is I'm going to leave this farm here in the capable hands of Thomas and Smithy and Sid, and they're going to continue moving the chains forward and doing everything that needs to be done in the winter months, which really is just keeping the greenhouses going, keeping the animals fed, cleaned, keeping them healthy and happy, and then just basically helping to transport the produce from the greenhouses down to Mr. Thornton's pub, and essentially collecting the eggs, taking them to the pub, trying to stay away from the pub as much as possible. Of course, Mr. Thornton will be around, and of course he knows that I'll be on vacation, and if the boys start spending a large amount of time hanging about with the pub and everything, he'll be certain to send them on back to the farm for work and everything. But there is, obviously some stuff that needs to be done on the farm. They're all capable of doing that. And again, I've been here all season and I haven't had any time off, and so that is something that we're going to basically get done and do. So I'm going to take a couple of weeks off from this map, and we'll try to fit another episode of either Midtown or Tazewell into the schedule so that you're still getting about 3 episodes a week. I'll try to do that. And then as one of those 2 maps, most likely it would be Midtown, will wrap up first, then that'll give me the opportunity to segue out of Thornton Farm into another British style map. I do enjoy British style farming. I just cannot, and I think I've learned from this that I cannot juggle three maps and everything. And so yeah, I'm only human, and I'm a busy human, and I really care about what I bring to you guys, and I want to make sure that I'm doing things the right way and entertaining and all this kind of stuff, and I don't like to rush through stuff and everything, and I want to make sure that I have high energy levels and I'm really enthused about a map and everything, because I think it carries over when you start to get a bit bored with something or whatever. I think that shows in lack of energy shows in the video production and all this kind of stuff. So let me holler at these guys right quick and get them to come out and unload me, and then I'll be right back with you. All right, that is done, and we've got $529 per bale there, and that is done. So we've got basically one more load of silage bales. We've basically moved all of the silage bales from the fields. We didn't want to leave them there all year. They can certainly sit out. They're wrapped. There's no harm, no foul for that. But just if you leave them out on the field, it will basically damage the ground and everything that they sit on top of. And so we wanted to just get them out of the field. And so in a couple of weeks, the boys will need to bring another trailer load to the sell point there, just to keep their stock and everything up. And so everything is good as far as that is concerned. And I think that we're about 24 minutes into the episode. I think what we'll do is we'll head back to the main farm, drop this trailer, grab our DB50 Penta, and possibly go and sell a load of grain, and then call it good. That way you've got almost 30 minutes of content here, and hopefully it's been entertaining for you. I was feeling really good on Saturday, had lots of energy when I recorded Midtown USA, and I still feel good today. I'm just very, very sore, crawling around on your hands and knees. And if you've done any tiling at all, and it really didn't matter, because even the fireplace project, I spent a great deal of time on my knees with that, because obviously it was the hearth area that we were tiling. But if you've done any of that kind of work, then you obviously know how difficult it is, and especially once you get up into your age a little bit. And again, when I was half this age, when I was in my mid 20s, even late 20s, oh heck, even early to mid 30s, and maybe even late 30s. These kind of things didn't necessarily cause me as much problem. I didn't feel it necessarily as much the next day. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, pretty much Monday through Friday, I ride a desk pretty much all day long. About the heaviest thing that I have to lift at work is a server occasionally, and usually I've got somebody to kind of help me with that. So it's just stuff that I don't normally do, and I think when you don't normally do something and then you spend an entire day or an entire weekend, or in this case an entire 3-day weekend, working at this, it does kind of show. You feel it the next morning. You feel it in your knees and in your um, in your bones and everything. All right. So where I'm going on vacation, I am going to go and spend some time here in England, just visiting some other areas and everything. Let me just quickly look and see where we need to take some of our materials, what we have, and where we need to send it, and where we might get the best price. Let's take some. Let's take some soybeans. Let's take some soybeans to Dalton stores, um, since we have quite a bit of that. 32, at least 32,000 liters of soybeans, and this will get all the beans out of here. But I'm going to do some touring around. I'm going to head into London and see some of the sites there. When Billy Bob came here to visit his cousin Thomas, Thomas took him to a lot of the different sites and everything in and around the area. And of course, I've had time to explore in the Cotswolds here, but haven't really had a whole lot of time because kind of made my transition from Lawfold's farm over here to Thornton Farm, and haven't had a whole lot of time to explore the big city and everything. Let me remember where I'm going here. 672 at Dalton Stores, and where is Dalton Stores? Oh, there, it's the top of the map. Okay, great. So I haven't had a whole lot of time to explore and see things. Really want to go and explore the Tower of London. Try not to get locked up there. And some of the other stuff, maybe like Madame Tussauds, etc. in London. Spend some time there and just kind of enjoy kind of getting away from things. And again, the farm is at a point where the boys can take care of it, and Mr. Thornton will pop by. And of course, Thomas is going to be left in charge. He is the most mature and most senior member of our team here. And so I've met with him, and I've given him a list of things that he needs to do and check on, and of course he knows all that kind of stuff anyway. So I'm quite going to enjoy the break. I think getting away from the farm life for a bit and get into to town. So basically, tomorrow morning, what's going to happen is the boys are going to Thomas will take me down to the train station because I don't have any transportation here other than the golf cart or the Gator, souped up golf cart there that Mr. Thornton has purchased for the farm. But take me down to the train. Train will take me into London, and then I'm going to spend a few days there, and then take the train out a ways and do some other sightseeing and whatnot, and then I'll make my way back here to Thornton Farm, and be back here to get the guys and everything situated and all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Thornton, you never know what that guy is working on and what he kind of has his hands into and everything, what he has his fingers into. He's quite the entrepreneur, and he was mentioning, and I don't know if he actually meant to tell me about this or not, but he was basically saying that he's got his eye on some additional some additional farms in the area, not too far from here, um, and have maybe talking about the possibility of me going over and basically running those farms, running this farm at the same time. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just kind of ready for vacation, ready for some time off, and I think whenever all that kind of sorts itself out and I get back from my vacation, then if he wants to share that information with me, then he certainly can. If that's something that he cares to even go into. He hasn't made the purchase yet, from what I understand. But he's really all about trying to keep things consistent, trying to keep things small. I think he's afraid that the whole corporate farming thing is going to just come in and wipe out some of these small farm areas that he has known and loved for years. And I think that's kind of what he's thinking about. He's obviously looking at it as an investment, which makes a good investment and everything. So anyway, it's going to be good to park this old tractor and basically, like I said, get away. I'm gonna have a good night's sleep tonight, get my bags packed and everything, and then the boys Thomas will take me down to the train station, and I'll go ahead and let him park this tractor and everything and put all that stuff up. And so anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode here on Thornton Farm, as we are kind of getting things wound down here and trying to figure out what the best move is for us as to how we continue our love of British farming on something a little bit different, something a little bit new, and obviously reducing our workload, our video workload and everything in the process of that. So I appreciate you guys understanding that. I know we kind of went from a whole bunch of episodes a week to very little episodes per week, put on the brakes very, very quick here. Is that one of the RAF jets flying over? We'll just kind of enjoy that together. Yep, that actually never gets old watching that. Anyway, I'm babbling, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching another episode here on Thornton Farm. My name is Jerry Grizzly Bear Sims, and we're going to put the brakes on this series for just a little while I have my simulated vacation here away from Thornton Farm. And in a couple of weeks' time, real couple of weeks' time, I will come back, wrap things up here on this farm, this map, and we'll figure out what we're going to do next. So until all that time comes around, I appreciate you watching, appreciate you subscribing and liking the videos. Please make sure that you check out all my other friends that's producing wonderful content on YouTube. All of their channel listings are listed down below. And until next time, please take good care of yourselves and also of each other, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.